Hello, my friends. I will introduce to you the giant Buddha that is also mentioned in the Guinness Book of World Records. Let's go.
TV reporter and photographer Anna introduces the lesser-known parts of Japan that tourists don't often visit.
Let us bring the excitement of travel to you, dear.
Just begun.
Not only Japanese, but also people from various countries have been visiting in large numbers.
That's still pretty big, even though it's a model of the Great Buddha at 1/1000th scale. It was believed that the Buddha, who enlightened in ancient India, possessed 32 auspicious characteristics, one of which is the Ushnisha, snail shell curls. This is a sized giant Buddha.
This is Temizuya.
A temizuya is a facility located within the grounds of a Shinto shrine. It is used to cleanse oneself of impurities known as kagare before proceeding to the main hall for worship. The facility is equipped with a basin of water called chozubachi for this purpose, and it serves as a simple form of purification ritual known as misogi.
This is a tradition of Shinto, the ancient indigenous religion of Japan.
In Japan, Buddhism and Shintoism coexist. Well, this is quite an unusual torii gate, isn't it? This is what a typical torii gate looks like. Born in 1173, Saint Shinran, 1173 to 1262, became a monk at the age of 9. After 20 years of training on Mount Hiei, he studied Buddhism under Honen and later founded the Jodo Shinshu, or True Pure Land School of Buddhism. He spent around 20 years at this location before returning to Kyoto around the age of 62.
Do you understand the meaning of the Buddha's hand shape?
Yes, the hand gesture of this Buddha is called Raiguan Seshufushain. It is a pose that represents when Amitabha Buddha comes to welcome a person into the Western paradise during their final moments. The cherry blossoms are blooming very beautifully and are well designed in their arrangement.
This incense burner is truly magnificent, isn't it? Ordinary incense burners are usually about this height. It's larger than an ordinary one, and its size and presence are truly overwhelming. The rising smoke from the incense enhances the sacred atmosphere even more. Its fragrance soothes the soul and gives a sense of purification to the heart. I stood quietly before this incense burner, feeling the fragrance and offering heartfelt prayers. At that moment, there was a sense of awe as if a sacred power enveloped me.
The Daikoro in Ushiku City is the largest incense burner in Japan, standing 5 meters tall with a diameter of 3 meters. It is designated as an important cultural property of Japan and is a symbol of the local area. Since a lot of smoke is produced, it is quite irritating to the throat. Looking up from below, you can feel the size of it even more. This text is written in 4 languages: English, Korean, Chinese, and Japanese. Here is the English translation. Noble Buddha, thank you for bestowing great compassion upon us sentient beings. This is a message of gratitude in Buddhism addressed to the Buddha, expressing appreciation for the compassion that has been bestowed upon all living beings. In this context, Noble Buddha refers to the Buddha who is revered in Buddhism as a spiritual teacher and guide. Sentient beings refers to all living creatures, and great compassion represents deep sympathy and a heart of compassion. The message expresses gratitude to the Buddha for having a compassionate heart toward all living beings and for helping to alleviate their suffering. As I look up at the compassionate face of the Buddha and am enveloped in the light of his compassion, I can deeply understand from the bottom of my heart that my life has been forgiven and allowed to exist. This message expresses the feeling of being comforted by the compassion of the Buddha and realizing that one's life is valuable and has been allowed to continue. The phrase, compassionate face of the Buddha, refers to the gentle and kind person that is often depicted in Buddhist art. The phrase, enveloped in the light of his compassion, represents the feeling of being embraced by the warm and comforting energy that emanates from the Buddha. The message conveys a sense of gratitude and a feeling of being blessed to be alive and able to experience the compassion of the Buddha. With the joy of receiving the light of the Buddha, I wish to live a life of gratitude from now on. This message expresses the desire to live a life of gratitude after receiving the blessings of the Buddha's light. The phrase receiving the light of the Buddha represents the feeling of being blessed and enlightened by the Buddha's wisdom and compassion. The phrase live a life of gratitude conveys the intention to repay the kindness of the Buddha and others by living a life of kindness, compassion, and gratitude. The phrase from now on indicates a sense of determination to make positive changes and live a meaningful life. Let us enter the world enveloped in the compassion of Amida Buddha and be reborn in the womb of the great Buddha. This message is a call to enter the world that is surrounded by the compassion of Amida Buddha and to be reborn in the womb of the great Buddha. In Buddhism, the womb of the great Buddha refers to a state of spiritual rebirth and enlightenment. The phrase, enveloped in the compassion of Amida Buddha, represents the feeling of being embraced and comforted by the loving and compassionate energy of the Buddha. The phrase, be reborn in the womb of the great Buddha, represents the desire to achieve spiritual rebirth and enlightenment through the teachings and compassion of the Buddha. Overall, the message encourages a spiritual journey towards enlightenment and the attainment of inner peace and happiness. However, we can truly enter the womb of the great Buddha. Come, let us go. After handing over the entrance ticket, take off your shoes and enter the great Buddha's womb. It's the same as when you enter a Japanese house. In the end, it seems that I will have to carry these shoes around with me all the time inside Daibutsu. I wonder if there's a shoe cupboard somewhere. It seems like everyone else is also carrying their shoes around with them in Daibutsu, which is a bit inconvenient. I had my husband hold the shoes, and now he is filming with a video camera while carrying 2 pairs of shoes and a camera bag. Finally, beyond the entrance and into the first floor, please proceed to part 2.